What's up, guys? In this video, we're going to talk about how Pikachu EX has started falling in the tier lists, as well as Mewtwo EX is starting to get a run for its money because a new deck is on the prowl. It's definitely a deck that has been doing pretty well in the past couple of weeks, and now it's really starting to shine. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So since today is Monday, at least at the time when this is going to be uploaded, there has been two bigger tournaments. Ursa Day is a Pocket Weekly, as well as another tournament here, the Pikaverse Pocket Cup. Both of these have pretty nice prizes, so if you want to try your skills in one of these tournaments, definitely think about signing up for one of these tournaments. But anyway, yes, it seems like the Charizard decks are starting to go on the rise. They have theoretically a good matchup into Mewtwo and Pikachu when you run the Arcanine alongside with it. And these tournament results, they speak for themselves, right? There's tons of players in these tournaments, like 1,000 plus. I know in Ursa Days there was a lot of players. I think in the Pikaverse it was a little bit smaller, maybe around 600. Let's go ahead and take a look. So Pikaverse had 800 players, wow, and Ursa Day had 1,024. So absolutely insane turnout. But yeah, let's we can take a look at the spread here. So this Charizard and Arcanine EX deck won Ursa Day's tournament, and it went 12-1-1. So 12 wins, 1 tie, and 1 loss. We can take a look at the list. I think their list has 2 Moltres, yep, and then 1 Growlithe, 2 Arcanine EXs, and then a 2-2 line of Charizard EX. It runs 0 Giovannis, only 1 Potion, and 1 Sabrina. 1 red card for the disruption. And then Professor's Research, Pokeball, just all the staples, you know? So this is the deck that beat Mewtwo EX and Pikachu. And again, if we take a look at the top 32 here, there is a surprisingly low amount of Pikachu EXs in here compared to last time. Let's count them up. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 Pikachu EXs in the top 32. Mewtwo EX kind of has been keeping its steam. Pikachu EX, though, is definitely dropping. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 Mewtwo Gardevoir decks in the top 32 of Ursa Day's Pocket Weekly. So Mewtwo is still doing pretty good, but yeah, I think you can also see here there's a lot of Charizard Arcanine decks in here, so that deck is definitely going on the rise. There are some variations where it's just Charizard and no Arcanines. Actually, this one is running the Sizzlipede and Centiskorch line. That's pretty cool. They're probably running that as a tech to beat Pikachu, maybe because they don't have Arcanine, and they found decent success, so that's pretty cool. And then this one is running an Aerodactyl tech here, 2 Moltres, and then the 1-1 Growlithe Arcanine line. This one's very similar, 1 Growlithe, 2 Arcanines. Let's take a look at this last one. So this one is also running. This one's running a single, the single prize Charizard actually here. So that's interesting. To just give up 1 point, but you still have the potential to one-shot a lot of Pokemon with 150 damage. 4 energies though is pretty expensive. It's very similar to playing it as Centiskorch. But Centiskorch is its own line. So like with Charizard, if you have your Charmeleon already in play, you can kind of pivot, you know? So all you Charizard fans, Charizard deck is a very meta deck, and it is on the rise. So, go ahead and start playing it, especially if you are kind of like more of a competitive player and you kind of want to get more wins. Charizard EX looks like it's going to is really good. It's very interesting how it all turned out, right? Pokemon Pocket releases the 3 card packs as being Pikachu, Mewtwo, and Charizard, and all of those 3 cards end up being the best decks in the game. Maybe completely 100% designed, who knows? But it's kind of interesting how it's starting to end up that way. Now let's kind of talk about like the other decks that kind of made top 32. There's a lot of Articuno decks with Starmie, but also Greninja. I think I am personally highlighting the Greninja. I think Greninja is a very strong card, and a lot of people are sleeping on it. Its ability to just do 20 damage from the bench is so powerful. And if you get 2 Greninjas on your bench, dealing 40 damage without needing to promote it into the active spot is super, super powerful. So this Articuno EX and Greninja deck hit 3rd place. That's amazing. This deck, I think I mentioned it in my last week's meta report that I think that this deck was really interesting and to keep an eye on it. And now we see that it has a 3rd place finish. So yeah, I can only see this deck getting played more and getting lots of good top placements in tournaments in the future. Let's go ahead and take a look at the list real quick. So it runs a 2/2 line, and then it runs 1 baby Articuno, and then it runs double Articuno, research, no Geos, no Giovanni, no Giovanni's needed, Sabrinas and Misties. It's very interesting, right? Because Articuno also hits the bench, right? So you're just chunking them for 10 damage. And then Greninja is able to like soften them up even more so that that 10 damage from Blizzard actually does end up knocking out Pokemon on the bench. I've played against it quite a few times, and that's usually what happens. And the Sabrinas are very, very good for like swapping it around. You just swap in a Pokemon that has 80 HP, and then the active Pokemon already has like 10 HP or 30 HP, and then you can get 2 prizes or 2 points in 1 turn. You can even get 3 points in 1 turn theoretically. So I see, again, the potential of this deck is very high, and it's really great to be able to see that it's doing pretty well. Now let's take a look at the Starmie and the Articuno decks. I think these are pretty standard ones. Yep, so Giovanni, Sabrina, Research, Misty, 2 Starmie EXs and 2 Articuno EXs. So it's just a really solid deck, you know? So not surprised that it did decently well at this tournament. And then we have a Starmie and Greninja build. This is really cool. Again, like I said before, I think Greninja is a very powerful card, and when you get 2 of them on your bench, hitting for 40 each turn anywhere on the board is really, really powerful. Couple it with Starmie EX, right? 90 damage plus 20 is 110, so you hit some benchmarks there. And then with 40, you hit even more benchmarks there. So I can see the synergy or the idea behind this, and it did pretty well at the tournament. So that is really cool to see. And then we should also mention another Mewtwo Greninja deck ended up making the top 32. This was a deck that made 13th place at the last Ursa Days Pocket Tournament, and so here it is again. It is again in the top 32. This deck has the sauce. If you have not tried this deck yet, I would definitely recommend it. It definitely takes some more thoughtful play and thinking to play it properly, but it is an incredibly fun deck to play, and it is successful. So you got your 2/2 Greninja lines, your Kangaskhan, and your Mewtwo EX, your Sabrinas, your Research, your 1 Giovanni, your Pokeballs, the 1 Potion, and the 1 red card. Red card again for disruption. You try to set up your Greninjas so that you can soften up Pokemon and take out some key threats in a deck. Kangaskhan is there for some stall, as well as just really early damage with Dizzy Punch, being able to hit 30 damage 50% of the time, 60 damage 25% of the time, and then of course 0 damage 25% of the time is still really good. So at least 75% of the time you're laying down some amount of damage. So that is pretty consistent. And then Mewtwo EX is there because it just comes in and it wipes out almost any Pokemon EX currently in the meta, right? It will one-shot other Mewtwo EXs and Pikachus. The only problem it has is against Charizard, because Charizard has 180 HP, but that's why you have Greninja, that's why you have Kangaskhan, because that way you can weaken them while they're on the bench, and then it sets Mewtwo up. Of course, there are going to be matchups where you have to kind of go fast and you can't go slow, and so that's why Frogadier being 1 energy, colorless, 30 damage is pretty solid, and then also Kangaskhan solid damage 75% of the time, so you can just lay down early damage. This is especially important when you go into the Pikachu matchup, because Pikachu and also Starmie, those 2 decks, they ramp up very quickly, so you just want to try to lay down as much damage and just go super aggro so that you can keep up with their damage output, because you can't really afford to just sit on the back line and charge your bench, because Starmie is going to start hitting you for 90 and just wiping out all of your Pokemon. And guys, it's the same story here over here at the Pikaverse Pocket Cup. Our first place was a Pikachu EX along with Electrode, but we had a 2nd and a 3rd place being Charizard and Arcanine. And then here's our Starmie and Greninja up here. And then Mewtwo, Gardevoir being 5th and 6th. So yeah, it's really looking like this deck is starting to rise. And I really just want to highlight the Greninja here. It's the Greninja decks that are placing higher. We got the 2/2/2 Greninja along with a 2-star 2-star and the 1 Kangaskhan. That's very cool. Kangaskhan just, again, in there just for early damage. It's a very solid basic Pokemon to just lead off with. And also to keep your bench safe. You could promote it if you get Sabrina, it's a good Pokemon that you can just kind of throw away when these other Pokemon are very essential to your plan. It looks like in this tournament we had a very interesting placement with a Wigglytuff Weezing deck. Again, and here's another Articuno Greninja deck. So yes, guys, I'm telling you, keep an eye on Greninja. I think Greninja is a S tier card. I think it's really good, and it's being slept on super hard. Yeah, so this Wigglytuff Weezing deck did pretty well. 2 Kogas in here and a Sabrina. The Koga is very powerful. It's basically a free switch and a free heal. That's why Koga is so powerful for Weezing. And it hit 19th place. 7 wins, 2 losses. Pretty good. That's a pretty good record for that deck. So let me know down in the comments what you guys think about these new changes and shifts in the Pokemon Pocket meta. Other than that, that's pretty much all that I have for you guys. And again, keep an eye out for more Greninja decks. Also, I'm just a huge fan of Greninja, so I'm biased. But anyway, until next time, I'll see you guys later.